Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bill Levinson, Managing Partner with Levinson and Associates. With us today, we have Joseph Loughran, our Marketing VP here at Levinson. And then, of course, we have Bob Herman, our disability expert, joining us as well. All right, we have some great stuff to go over. We're always on our training webinars talking about technology and life insurance products and, how to market and brand yourself and, for a change. And I think it's very, very important that as a insurance agent, maybe a health insurance agent, if you focus on life or P&C, that's also great. But you need to know a little bit about the supplemental products as well. Because the bottom line is your same clients in book of business, they're buying these products, just not from you, okay? Because you didn't bring this up. You didn't ask the question about disability income protection or, let's say, critical illness or cancer insurance, whatever the case is. It's your job to let all of your clients and prospects know all of the different lines of insurance that you handle. Okay, it's very important because, again, these products are being sold, but not by you. Okay, so you're leaving a lot on the table. Commissions are great. Renewals are unbelievable with these products. So there's a lot of money to be made. We know agents. We have some agencies that are under us. All they do is sell and market DI insurance. So the money is there. The prospects are there. The need is there. So it's time for all of our agents to make sure, and it's our duty to make sure that you know at least the basics, enough to be dangerous. We hope you're going to walk away with today's training with some great new ideas to ultimately help you sell more DI. Okay, we brought in our special guest speaker. Bob Herman has been in the business for a long, long time, knows DI like the back of his hand, and was nice enough, okay, and my hat goes off to Bob. What he did is literally sent us 50 copies of the Napkin Advisor DI book, okay? And it's basically 50 ways to present income protection concepts on the back of a napkin. Okay, this is the ultimate disability income book for sales ideas and strategies, okay? The DI coach, Chris Carlson, helped write the book. And I think it's important to know, here's what we're doing. So we're sending a free copy to the first 50 registrants on today's webinar. And the way we're going to work this very easily, we're going to send out a thank you email to every agent that is on the call today. In that thank you email, there's going to be a form. It'll say free book. And you click on that form. It basically just name, email, address, tell us where to mail the book, and we will send out your copy. Okay, so send us that. You'll have the email probably within an hour after we hang up the call, but send us back that form. All you have to do is hit submit, and you're done. Okay, that's simple. And then you'll hear from one of our marketers if there's any issues. If not, we'll mail you out your free copy. So thank you, Bob, for doing that. These books are literally like $15 to $20 on Amazon. So that's a lot of value add there, especially if you can learn some new ideas to ultimately sell more product. So thank you again. Okay, moving forward here, this is the About Us page, just going over the basics, and then we're going to jump into our new podcast launch. So I'm delighted to say we just launched the Bill Levinson Experience. It's the first podcast ever that has been created for the insurance agent, basically the independent insurance agent out there in the field. And I am the host of this podcast, and each month we're going to feature a different guest speaker, okay, for the podcast. And we're going to talk all about motivation, inspiration, talk about marketing, what it's like being an insurance agent in 2019 and in the future. It's going to be a great tool for you, okay? If you're driving to an appointment or driving to the office in the morning or leaving the office at night and you want a little pick-me-up, okay? You want a little knowledge about motivation and a little drive, or sometimes we all need a little kick in the you-know-what so we can get back in gear and keep our head on right. So next time we pick up the phone or see that client in person, we're in the right frame of mind. So this tool, it's free for everyone. It is a great way to stay on top of our industry. I'll just tell you real quick. It's available on iTunes right now. It's a free download again. And Spotify will be launching this month. So you'll be able to access from any smartphones. If you have an iPhone, you can get it literally right now as we're talking. Just search for Bill Levinson Experience in that little podcast app. It's usually a purple little icon on your iPhones, or it's available on our website and on our YouTube channel. So you can see it there. In fact, we're going to include it in the thank you email today, so everybody can click on it and check it out. So yes, we came out with this last month, January, and it's kind of neat because our first guest speaker is my mentor for 20 plus years, Cleveland Clinic's Man of the Year, top Forbes 150 member year after year. He owns the largest privately held company in Florida. His name is Jeff Levitets, and I talk about how I met Jeff when I was literally 18 years old, how he's changed my life, how he's had a huge impact on my life. We talk about some of his strategies and tips. He was also the team leader for the U.S. Olympic wrestling team. So the guy's just an amazing, amazing person, philanthropist, does a lot of neat stuff for charities. Just a really great overall guy to know, especially if you're in business or sales of any kind. He's got some great tips that we go over. Also, it's kind of neat. I was the featured guest speaker on 2 different podcasts the end of 18, and one of them was the actual disability coach that wrote that book that we're giving away, Chris Carlson. So he wanted to interview me to talk all about the independent life brokerage channel and how we're using disability insurance as a supplement. So that is on our channel as well. And then, if you want to write this down, month number 3 or episode number 3, I am interviewing Gary Vaynerchuk. Okay, Gary Vaynerchuk has absolutely nothing to do with the insurance industry, but he is literally the world's greatest marketing guru, okay? Just to give you an idea, I was at another insurance carrier conference. He was the keynote speaker. He gets paid $250,000 an hour to do a keynote, but that's how I met him, was at this carrier convention. So long story short, I was able to nail him down March 19th. I'm flying up to his office in New York City, and we're going to talk all about, if you're a insurance agent or real estate agent, how to market yourself with the new technology world and websites and social media, how to get your message across. So he's going to bring some great stuff to the table. And then Insurance Newsnet already picked up this podcast in the interview with me and Gary, and they're going to feature us in a 2-page spread in the June issue. Okay, so this is going to be a really big deal, and I couldn't be any more excited about all of these great opportunities. The only thing I ask of you, it's all free for you. Obviously, take the time to watch it. Send me a comment, or there's a little rate box. Okay, just say something nice if you enjoyed it, or share it if you know any other agents. That's the only thing I want you to do on your end. So please check it out. Those are some other comments in front of you in blue that we just received from agents on the iTunes app. All right, Joe is going to dive in real quick and give you the 100-foot overview on where to go for all of our DI resources here at Levinson. So you could start marketing this stuff this afternoon. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So what I've done here is taken a quick screenshot of kerrylevinson.com. You can log in today. Underneath the product tab, you'll see disability, and this is going to highlight every single one of our DI carriers. You can then click on that carrier and actually access all the sales materials. We've got some great client videos, client mailers, even some postcards and presentations you can use that are all compliant approved. You'll see there on the right-hand side, there's some great videos. There's even a really neat tool called your client's disability quotient, which basically means their chances of becoming disabled. So your client can actually use this calculator, put in their age, put in their occupation, what their annual income is, and kind of see how far their savings will get them. And I think a lot of clients, when they use that tool, really understand the need for the disability policy because they're actually looking at a real life scenario of what could happen in their current situation and really how far they'd get on their savings, which is really a big eye opener for a lot of clients. The next page here I want to focus on is underneath our quote tab. We do have a section which is a disability quote request form. You can actually fill in all of your information, all of your client details. And what our marketing team will do is we'll actually get the software, run all the illustrations, and send you everything you need to be able to write that disability case. So typically we turn these around. If you submit the quote by about 4 p.m. Eastern, we'll get that back to you. We'll be able to show you all the multiple scenarios and different products that are available. And I'll hand it back to Bill here just to jump into some of our top DI carriers.
Okay, good stuff, Joe. All right, so, it's important. You see all this stuff, you get excited. You have to know where to go to get quotes, marketing material, applications. We have some great client videos, some really neat agent videos that we can customize. And then what's so neat, we have this agency automator CRM platform that allows you to go, let's say you want to use one of our client disability income videos, right, to gain some spark and interest from your prospects or your existing book of business. So you can go into our CRM, you can e-blast this out with your name, logo, picture of you to all of your clients and prospects, and then basically say, click here for a quote today. And then what's neat is you can go into our database, okay, and put in whatever criteria that you want. Let's say you want to work in the medical field, you want to focus on, doctors and RNs and, whatever the case is, you can put in the criteria and say, all right, young professionals between the ages of 25 and let's say 50, and the system will give you names, numbers, emails, addresses of everybody that falls into that criteria. So now you can take your same marketing piece and send it out to these people as well. Okay, and then we even take it a step further, and here's what's really cool. We have this new VIP plan that this person does all of the marketing for you, okay? So you can tell him, you could say, okay, this month I'm going to market disability income and why it's so important to have, and maybe give some examples and show the client video. We have some really good client videos that tug on your heartstrings. If you watch this, it really sparks the interest for a DI quote. Any prospect that watches this is going to say, oh my God, I got to get a quote today. This is unbelievable. So, but the point is, you can have this VIP host call all of your clients and prospects or anyone that comes up in Agency Automator and say, hey, did you see the disability income email that we sent out last week with the video? We saw that you received it, and I just wanted to see if you were interested in getting a quote or hearing more. And as soon as that client or prospect says, oh yeah, I do want to hear more, I am interested in this, boom, they transfer the call over to you, or you call the client instantly and make the sale. Okay, so this is how you need to be thinking these days. And the reason why, and this is so important, there are so many times we hear these stories, where Bob, the agent, is at the grocery store, and he sold a 10-year term policy to Barbara, his neighbor, right? And then he sees Barbara at the grocery store in line, and they start talking, oh, how are you? Oh, everything's great. You still have your life insurance policy? Yes. And by the way, Bob, I just bought one of these DI policies, disability income protection, and I thought, I had to have it, and it was so important. And Bob says, well, why didn't you let me know, Barbara? I sell disability as well. And Barbara said, oh, Bob, I had no idea. I thought you were the local life insurance guy. I didn't know you sold disability insurance. So I got an email from some guy named Steven who focuses on DI. So I picked up the phone and called Steven. Okay? The point is, Bob is 100% guilty for not letting his clients know that, yes, he handles life, but he also handles DI and CI and living benefit products. And it's so, so important nowadays because you're going to wind up losing your clients to the hotshot young agent right out of college that's using technology and knows it like the back of their hand. So you have to be proactive and make sure that your clients and prospects know, yes, I handle life, and then I also handle these other lines of business as well. Okay? It also happens with annuities all the time. You wouldn't believe how many times we get calls from agents that say, Susie just bought an annuity from Jennifer down the street. She didn't know I handled annuities. You know, what can I do to let my clients know all of the lines of insurance and investment products that I handle? So very, very important. All right, enough of my rant. Real quick, we're going to talk about what products and carriers are available to you through Levinson. And what's so neat is some of these products come with our free scholarship program. So you can sell a DI product and then give 1 year free scholarship to little Johnny or little Susie, right, just from you buying a DI product through Levinson. So this is great, great stuff. I'll just go over this quickly. A surety, great blue collar, also a graded DI product that's almost guaranteed issue. Then we have a straight up virtually guaranteed issue product up to $13,000 a month of benefits. Okay, that's available to you as well. Mutual of Omaha, Illinois Mutual, great blue collar products. NGL on the bottom in the center stack there, straight down, you'll see it says NGL Insurance Group. This is part of our Sell While You Sleep platform. So you can literally, remember I was talking about emailing those disability videos, or you want to send them out to your clients and prospects. So you can include your NGL link. And your client can click on that link that you can include in the e-blast, let's say. They can run a quote, sign up online, policy gets mailed directly to the client within a week. You did nothing. Okay, so that's called client driven. It's part of our Sell While You Sleep platform. That's another great product, up to $5,000 a month of monthly benefit. On the right side, as you can see, we have Principal Financial Group, who stands apart from everyone else. And the reason why, they are our go-to for all white collar professionals. Okay, they have hands down the best product benefits. Bob's going to dive in a little deeper. I don't want to steal any of his thunder, but when it comes to white collar, especially medical field, they are the place to go. He's going to dive in right about now. We're going to start. Bob, are you on with us?
I am. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yep, excellent, loud and clear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Herman from Principal Financial Group. Bob's going to take over right now.
Thanks, Bill.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Joe, and all those that are on the line for your time today. I hope to share a few ideas with you in regards to income protection. I think in most regards, I'm even asking for your help. We need more advisors today that bring this subject up with your clients. We do not have enough advisors that get into this risk management discussion with their customers. So please, if you can gather anything out of today, hopefully it's a bit of behavior modification in regards to how you go about your practice with your clients. The first slide, Joe, can you see that slide? Am I moving it, this thing?
Yep, I'll handle the slides. I think we had a technical issue, so I'll go through those on my end here for you.
Okay, the first one where it says what it takes to be successful.
Yep, we'll get there in 1 second here.
Okay, it's up.
So it always starts in regards to how do we get started selling or get better at income protection. First of all, you got to own it yourself. For many people that are out marketing products, I started in the business back in 1987, and my manager at the time always told us, you're never going to sell this stuff if you don't own it yourself. You've got to have the conviction and the belief that it's important for your clients, and it starts right at home. So if you don't have anything at this point in time, take a look at your own program, purchase something on yourself. So then if one of your clients asks you about this, what do you have? you can tell them about your plan and why you own it. I think Bill said it best. I mean, we got to talk to all of our clients. It's, you know, we always say the market for income protection is those between the age of 25 and 55. But I think the longer I'm in this business and the relationships that I see producers that have with their customers, we've got to turn our clients into advocates for us too. So it's not just making, or it is making sure that we have the income protection with all the people that go to work every day, 25 to 55, but it's also some of those older folks that are not necessarily prospects, but they can be an advocate for us. And I relate it to my own situation. I've got three kids, and I make sure my kids have a policy. If it's important enough for me and my family, why isn't it important for them? And I think we can, you know, obviously it helps us with prospecting, referrals, and things of that nature, but we want to make sure, whether it's a relationship you have with an attorney, a CPA, older clients that have influence, business owners, they have employees, they have friends, they have neighbors. We've got to share this income protection story. Everybody takes for granted their health, their ability to get up each and every day. Nobody ever thinks it's going to happen to them, right? But it's around us every day, and we don't even pay attention to it. I guess one of the best examples I could use, if there's any baseball fans that are on the line, if you see any like the All-Star game or a World Series or the playoffs, sometimes they have, before the game, they show this campaign. I stand for, it's a cancer campaign. I stand for, and it's somebody that they know that they write on this card. The whole stadium is standing up holding one of these cards. And obviously, as we know, cancer is considered an illness and people fight it each and every day, and it does impact lives. And things happen tomorrow, and the questions are we ready? I guess in regards to starting with the need, we don't necessarily need an illustration or a quote to have a conversation or even sell income protection. I think it starts with a conversation, and I think it revolves around asking questions. And we'll get to some of those questions in a little bit, but I think we've got to incorporate a question that you feel comfortable with, that you can share each and every time with your clients. So it triggers the conversation with every customer between the age of 25 and 55. It should automatically come up. One of my favorites is, why did you go to work today? Wait for their response. Why did you go to work today? And ultimately, they're going to tell us, well, geez, Bob, I need the money. I go to work because I need the money. Great. Let me ask you a question. What would happen, Bill, if you became sick or hurt yesterday? You would find out you had this illness, and you're not going to be able to work for the next 6 months, for the next year. How do you meet the obligations that you're faced with each and every month? What's your plan B if the income stops? And then the last question we want to ask is, what other benefits they may have in place? Joe, if you could flip the next slide. I think it's important to also understand where we're at as an industry, more so to see the opportunities that are in this marketplace. If we look back just a short 5 years ago in regards to the premium that was sold in our business, $318 million of disability premium, and that's in the non-CAM marketplace, on a workforce population of 155 million. If you go back even further than that, say 25 years, I started in 1987, there were well over 100 disability carriers in the marketplace at that point in time. There were career forces or career agencies that manufactured their own products and taught their agents advisors how to sell this stuff. Those folks aren't manufacturing the product anymore, nor are they teaching the folks how to sell it. So we have fewer advisors, fewer carriers, but the need has not gone away. I think it's also interesting that 160 million people that are in the workforce population, those are the folks that get up every day and go to work. Now, as Bill had mentioned, the nice thing about Levinson is they've got a carrier for every occupation that you're working with. You don't have to worry about that. You just go to one place and they'll take care of the need. But I think the important thing is that we have a tendency in the disability industry to say, oh, I'm not in that marketplace because I don't call on doctors. Well, guess what? Of the 160 million, 1 million of them are physicians. So you got 159 million people that you can still work with. And again, the biggest reason why we do these focus groups at the principal and we ask the clients that don't own disability insurance, what's the reason you do not own this stuff? And the number one response that we get is nobody's asked them. So again, we just want to ask the question. The next slide there is, again, a continuation. Our opportunities have never been better. Hopefully you're understanding that already. I think the other thing that comes into play is, just as Bill had mentioned, revenue diversification. Is it easier to go to an existing client to sell them some additional insurance, or is it easier to go out and find a brand new customer and try to sell them insurance? You tell me. You guys do this each and every day. Most often we find it's easier to go to an existing client. So if you think about the customers that you have, either three things happen, three choices that you make. Number one, you could say, you know, I'm going to be the one responsible for bringing this subject up as far as income protection to each and every one of my clients. The other option is you can say, I'm not going to do it at all and let somebody else bring it up. Or the third thing is, again, nobody brings up the subject and the client doesn't buy it from anybody. So either you can sell it to them, somebody else could, or nobody's going to get it. So nobody's going to sell it. So you tell me which of those three works best. I think the other thing that's important about revenue diversification too is this business, once you sell it, it stays on the books. The average policy of the principal is 15 years, it stays on the books. There is a strong interest from the consumers in our marketplace about protecting their income. They're just not hearing the story. And we know in most marketplace outside of the medical marketplace and legal marketplace, few people are getting penetrated those markets. Again, going back to, or as we advance the slides a little, talking about the needs, one of the discussions that Bill and Joe and I had was this kind of sharing ideas. You know, you don't need to have 50 sales ideas. All you need to do is have one that you like, one that you can really get good at. And that's the reason why we brought all these books into play. Chris Carlson has done a wonderful job, simple ideas that you can run with just after picking up this book for 10 minutes. But you got to practice, you got to learn. Here's a simple idea in regards to the foundation of any financial plan. It makes sense for most people that if you think about all the things that we're working for in our lives, you know, everything depends upon our income. Our health, to some degree, is dependent upon our income. The car that we drive, the home that we live in, the retirement we hope to achieve someday is all dependent on our ability to earn an income. And we got to make sure that if something ever happened, that we have some source of income coming in the door. I think what's, again, starting with a right question, fact-finding, if you will, you've got to come up with a question that triggers the conversation. Find something you like. And these are just some examples of questions that you could utilize. How valuable is your income to your family? Let's start there. You know, why'd you go to work today? When was the last time you reviewed your income protection plan? Simple questions that allow you to get into the subject and then ask further questions, right? I think for many advisors that work with their clients, I think they also understand where their money, or in some cases, they may understand where their money comes from. But when we write disability insurance, we do have to pay attention to the income, the source of income. I think a lot of times when you ask a client how much money they make, or where, you know, how much do you make on an annual basis, something along that line, and they'll give you a number. We want to go a little further than that at times. You kind of want to break that down. Is it a salary? Does that $100,000, that represent all salary? Is there some type of bonus or commission that's on top of that? Is there some, as a business owner, do you have K-1 distributions that are included? So we take into consideration all of those pieces as far as earned income and can insure every bit of that income. It's also important to find that stuff out just in the event that they may have other coverages too. So I think the other things that come into play is some folks that go to work every day, they may work through an employer and they take some of these other things for granted. It isn't necessary that we can cover these as far as protecting them, but it's things that they may have to take into consideration if they ever lost that job, right? Their health insurance, maybe a company car that they were provided, or computers or phones that were provided by the employer that now all of a sudden these folks have to pick up if they can no longer go to work. I think many of our clients know where their money is going too. Getting a handle on that. And I always say, in regards to income protection, we don't have to start at the top of the hill. We have a tendency to show maximum benefits all the time in regards to what folks are eligible for. Getting an illustration, getting a quote, we start at the maximum. You don't have to get into that practice. We want to get them as a client. You want to make it affordable. I always say that one of the best places to start is just get an illustration from Levinson. Call those guys and say, hey, here, I got a client that I'm working with. Here's their name, date of birth, their occupation, and their income. And tell me what they're eligible for. Now, we can run an illustration, or they can, in regards to what they're eligible for, but get a second illustration for just $1,000 a month. Typical plan design, 90-day wait, benefit maybe to 65, and then go back to that client and just share with them the premium for $1,000 a month. And say to the client, if you were to become sick or hurt yesterday and you couldn't go to work, and you're out of work for the next 6 months, and you're still faced with your mortgage and your utilities and all that other stuff, how many of these units would you like to see come in every month? Tell me what's affordable for you. I'm not interested in putting you in a situation that's worse. I want to make it better. So if you can afford $1,000, great. Let's start there. If you can go a little better than that because you need more, if it's $2,500, just multiply the rate by 2.5 times and you're good. Or you're bringing it to be damn close to it. So again, we don't want to scare them with the premium because that is a concern for many clients. They don't understand the premiums for this stuff. So we do have to make sure that we don't frighten them right out of the gate. I think it's important too, in regards to selling this stuff, they understand the value of an individual disability contract. And part of that in the next slide is, what do you have now? You may hear objections from clients that say, gee, Bob, I have something through my employer. Or, I got this great plan through the American Dental Association or the AICPA association plan. Great. Tell me a little bit more about that plan. You want to find out some information about those plans in regards to how it works. More importantly, what the benefits are. And there's typically 6 pieces of information we want to find out about group insurance. And it's mainly, how much do they get? When does it start? And how long does it last are the first 3. The next 3 are, who's paying for it? Is it the employer or does the employee pay? Because it determines taxability. What's the cap on that group plan? 60% of my income is covered up to $5,000 a month, up to $10,000 a month. I just need to know what that number is. And then the last one is, how do they define earnings? Is that K1 distribution, is that covered under this group plan? Is that bonus covered? We want to uncover that. We want to educate that client. We want to make sure they understand how their current benefits work today. Because 9 times out of 10, they didn't realize how these benefits work. And it's a great exercise for you to go through. More importantly, you establish credibility with that client when you take the time to educate them, to show them how their benefits work, and then talk about the value of an individual policy, why it's so important to own. I mentioned my son, the younger guy. Tyler was 26 years old at the time, and I made him buy a policy. He's like, what do I need this for? I'm 26 years old. I don't need disability insurance. But again, the value of an individual contract is, once you buy that policy, nobody could ever change it or take it away from you. The premiums are guaranteed to the age of 65. They're never going to go up. So if you think about it, I buy a policy at 26 years of age. I'm never going to be healthier, right? You're never going to be healthier at least at 26 years of age. Because we know we don't get healthier as we get older. It doesn't work that way. I've also locked in that rate as a 26-year-old, so it stays that way all the way to 65. So it becomes less of a burden for me as time goes on, and my obligations start to increase with family and kids and college and all those other things, a mortgage, right? But again, if Tyler's health changes, if he goes to a different job, if his income changes, it doesn't matter. The benefit stays the same. He was able to purchase a plan for $3,000 a month, and it cost him $617 a year, never going up from there. What a tremendous value that is. And again, I can't stress it enough. Group insurance, you don't take with you. Association plans, they can make changes. Association plans, rates aren't guaranteed. Association plans have banded rates that they do nothing but go increase over time. And again, we have to be ready for the unexpected, I think is what we have to make sure that we have the conversation with our clients, because disabilities aren't something that we plan for, and illness isn't something that we plan for. It happens tomorrow, and the question is, are you ready? The two last things I'm going to leave you with is in regards to, financial documentation and medical underwriting. I think are things that we do have to pay attention to. You know, I can get pretty excited about having a conversation about income protection with somebody, but I kind of leave maybe on the side some of the things that we do as a field underwriter need to pay attention to, and that's making sure a client is qualified in order to buy this stuff. Certainly the folks that want it the most typically aren't healthy enough to buy it. So common concerns that we have from a medical standpoint are chiropractor visits for maintenance, antidepressants somebody might be on, cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, height and weight. Now, all of these factors are certainly concerns from a medical underwriting standpoint, but they're not necessarily declines. Okay, so if somebody's seeing a chiropractor, we may issue coverage, but we'll have an exclusion on that policy for any treatment that they're seeking currently. I think most people understand that. And again, we've got to let those clients know that if I apply for this coverage today and I have an exclusion on my back, I'm covered for all the other things, the 15,000 other things that go wrong for me. But right now, they're not covering my back. And most carriers, too, will allow you to come back and reconsider some of those issues that may be out there. Antidepressants, mental and nervous issues, the industry as a whole has gotten a lot better at making offers on those cases. So just know that it's not necessarily a decline. And one of the things you can do in regards to questions you can ask is just ask them if they're currently taking any medication. Have you seen a chiropractor for any back issues in the last 5 years? Have you had any surgeries over the last 5 years? Some of those things, but I think setting expectations is part of it. And it's part of the expectation is just letting the client know that 60% of the applications that we receive in this industry are approved as applied for. 40% of the time they're coming back different with an exclusion, a rating, a decline. So let them know that up front. So that way they'll open up about some of these issues and they'll say, hey, is this going to be an issue? Bob, tell me a little bit about this. And again, in regards to our whole marketplace, if you look at the carriers that are out there, we're all trying to make it a little easier on you folks out in the field. And at Principal, we've got a simplified underwriting program that allows you to move product quickly. It allows you to become more efficient. And from our standpoint, any client between the age of 18 and 50 years of age, that's buying $6,000 of benefit or less, there's no blood, no urine, and no financial documentation that's required. We do a telephone interview. We do we check the motor vehicle report, the MIB, and we do a script check, and we make our underwriting decision off of that information. Once we have all that information, it's 48 hours for an underwriter to turn around the decision. So again, it allows you to be, you're not chasing after blood or urine, you're not chasing after financial documentation. It allows you to move products quickly and be more profitable at what you do. More importantly, again, remind yourself, we're trying to get them as a client, get them something, and then protect their insurability, because we do know once people have disability insurance, they continue to buy more. Where do you go from here? I think Joe and Bill had already addressed this. Throughout the course of this call today, think of some people that you work with, some of your current clients. You call Levinson and say, hey, can I get an illustration, a quote? I need two. I want you to show me the maximum. Give me $1,000 a month. I want to go start presenting this stuff. But you got to get out there and you got to just ask each and every person. Thank you again for your time.
That was great. Spot on, Bob. We appreciate it. We did have some technical issues, and obviously we worked through that. So I appreciate it. And you know, it sounds very black and white, very simple. And you know, the bottom line is, it really is simple. You know, once you can explain it, the best way to get your foot in is with a great story. Okay, usually if you know someone, or if you want to pick up some of those videos that we have on our website, lifehappens.org has some other great videos and marketing pieces that, you know, really explain why DI is so important and how it literally changes a family's outcome, okay, if the breadwinner has a DI policy. So very important. Now, Joe is going to show you, you know, here we are. We have a great product. We have our leading white collar product that you just heard all about by a leading carrier, A+ rated Principal Financial. Now you're scratching your head saying, great, you know, what clients and prospects now can I talk to about DI, and how do I gain new clients to speak to? Okay, so Joe's going to take literally a few minutes, jump into our agency automator database CRM tool, and show you how you can maximize and start to penetrate this afternoon. Joe, you there?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So really, I'm going to just dive in real quick here and show you an example, like Bill said, of how to use our agency automator CRM platform to find prospects. So not only does the automator organize all of your existing clients, help you do some outbound marketing and really automate your entire digital marketing plan, but really finding prospects, I think, is the really biggest highlight part of Agency Automator. And you do that by getting into the Agency Automator platform and just clicking on the button that says prospecting. And we have more in-depth videos and training every day at 2 p.m. on how to use this platform. But I'll show you real quickly here. You can access the prospect database. We actually have two different databases, a consumer database, which has about 28.4 million records, and a business owner database, which has 6.7 million records, which I think is great, especially for disability. If you want to go after a specific group of clients with a specific occupation that maybe a DI carrier specializes in, if you want to target white collar, blue collar, you can go after those clients and say, look, I help a lot of people that do what you do and are in your position of familiar with what type of disability product you might need and what type of risk we need to make sure that we cover. So I think it's a great tool to tie into disability, especially. You can actually sort by your very own zip code. So let's say you log into Automator, you put in the zip code of where you're located, and you can pick a certain mile radius, let's say 25 miles, 35 miles, and this is going to show you a certain mile radius of which you're going to actually search inside of. You can then go into some additional demographics for that client. You can go in again by occupation. You can go in by their age, their income, their net worth, if they have any children. You can even go as specific as if they're tobacco users or not, what their credit score is. And the whole idea is that you're finding a list of those type of clients that are more likely to purchase this specific product. And basically going into the database, you're going to be able to pull a list of every single person that fits that criteria. Their email address is provided, their first name, last name, their title, basically what they do in their occupation, the city, state, zip code, phone number, their physical address. Everything is inside of that database, so you can then start to use all the email marketing tools. Let me just update my screen here so that you can actually market to all these clients on an ongoing basis. So everything is built into that platform, completely turnkey. It's just a great way to uncover new prospects. We even have a virtual assistant built into the platform. So depending on the list you're looking to use or the type of marketing you're doing, that virtual assistant can even help make follow-up calls and even set appointments for you based on those different lists that you're running inside of that agency automator platform.
Hey, Joe, if you could take a minute, just show everyone what that screen is in front of you right now, and just point out like each box what it means so they understand it.
Sure.
There
yep. Let me start back from the beginning here. So this is the two different databases that are available. You have the consumer database and the business owner database. So you would basically pick one of those databases, and then once you click on that database, you're then able to enter in additional criteria. The first thing is the zip code. You can use your resident license or a non-resident license. We have a lot of agents that sell over the phone. You can do e-applications for almost all these products. Or if you want local clients, in this example, I put in, okay, we've got a 25-mile radius from my zip code here at the office. Once you enter in that criteria, it'll then actually add all those zip codes into the search bar. And then you can even drill down further and add additional criteria. So in this example, I'm looking at business owners within a 25-mile radius. I can go in and actually select how much revenue they've had historically, the number of employees, the number of years they've been in business, and you can actually pick that SIC code or NAICS code and actually sort by their specific occupation. So we had one agent who actually targeted orthodontists and dentists, and basically that was his specialty. So he marketed to those established doctors and orthodontists that are in the 25-mile radius. And so what this platform does is it gets you in front of those people by first identifying who they are. So in this example, a 25-mile radius, there was 574 people that met that criteria. You literally click one button and you can export every single one of those data pieces, those data sets. You have all their contact information. And then what we also do inside of Automator is we have about 2,000 different email marketing templates you can choose from. So you can pick a template that talks about disability insurance. There's even a video that kind of explains, gives them a story of a client who became disabled and how it affected their family. And because they had disability insurance, they were able to pay for college education, all sorts of other things that they normally wouldn't be able to afford. So it's just a great way to find new prospects and new people in your area that you wouldn't otherwise know existed.
Okay, that was great. And, keep in mind, as long as you're appointed with us, you get free access to the website builder and then the CRM tool, okay? So there's no excuse to not use some of this stuff, okay? We don't do it to make money. We don't do it because we're a technology firm. We do it at the end of the day to help our agents sell more. We don't get paid until you make a sale, okay? So obviously, we're all in this together. We're not going to charge for any tools or say you're captive with us for a certain amount of time or you have to write a certain amount of premium. If you're appointed, you're in, okay? It's that simple. So what we have here is our annual Agent Expo. I know you've heard about it probably 20 times already this year, but you're going to hear about it number 21, okay, the 21st time. And the reason why is because it's very important, okay? If you want to take your practice to the next level, you want to handle on what's going on in and around the industry, okay? You need to be here. We have our top core carriers that will be in attendance. Most of the carriers send their senior VPs out, okay, who run all of distribution. So you're not talking to, the guys and girls that are at the bottom. This is the top of typically the executive team of each carrier. So you want to be here. Joe Ross is our keynote. He is the best trainer, hands down, in the industry today. He's also going to be featured on our podcast this year. He is the man. We're seeing, a lot of trends right now. What I'm noticing is there's a lot of agencies and IMOs that are being bought up. Okay, and they're being bought out by these huge hedge funds or these other typical corporate companies that aren't even involved in the insurance space, okay, but they see an opportunity and a way to make money, so they're buying up these IMOs and agencies. And the problem is they don't speak our language, okay? So we're seeing lots and lots of change, and it's important for you to know what's going on, okay? Yes, we want you to work with us, 99% of the time, but if you have a contract outside of us, ask these questions, okay? Number one, it's so important. Make sure you're not captive. And if you need a release, that they'll give it to you. And make sure they put that in writing. And B, know who owns the company that you're working with and trusting with all of your clients. At the end of the day, this IMO or agency has access to all of your client information. Okay, so you want to know who owns the company. Very, very important. Here at Levinson, we're family owned and operated. We're not going anywhere. This is my life. And for those of you who know me on a personal level, okay, all know that I eat, sleep this business. This is my life 24/7. We're not selling out. We're not going anywhere. This is in our blood, and I think it's important for you to know and understand that. Here at the Expo, you'll get a chance to meet my whole family, our great Levinson team. We feel that we have the best staff in the industry, literally. Joe's part of the family as well, including 19 other employees that you'll meet there for our remote. So definitely a day you don't want to miss. Great day to network. If you have any agents under you, I would also bring them to the Expo, because ultimately it's going to help build out your database and hierarchy. All right, moving forward here. Second to last slide, and then we're going to end the call. I know we're running a little behind, but I hope you're getting some great nuggets of information to help change your business, okay? Most important. Okay, now we all know that training and learning is a crucial part of what we do day in and day out. And the day that you stop learning, okay, I don't care how long you've been doing this, is the day you might as well close shop. So this is very important. We host these literally daily training webinars live every single day now, okay, for you. So you're comfortable. Number one is AsureWorks. That is our target marketing tool, okay, that works great if you're trying to drive traffic to your website and set appointments online or over the phone. Check out AsureWorks every Monday, 2 p.m. Tuesday is the free website builder. By the way, we now have your website, the template is mobile compatible. So what that means is when your clients pull you up on their smartphones, it reformats, okay, to the new smartphone format website. So everything is easy to search and press buttons for quotes and calculators and videos, which makes it a lot easier, because we know nowadays everyone's on their cell phones. So that's important. And this is all free, by the way. Okay, there's no gray area or small print. Wednesday is the free CRM tool. We're going to go over this live demo every Wednesday. These are all at 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, today, having a CRM tool is about as important as driving a car with your 4 tires on. Okay, literally. Without a CRM tool, it's like trying to drive with 3 wheels, which doesn't happen. So you must have a CRM tool in today's day and age. If it's ours, great. If you're using a non-insurance dedicated CRM like Salesforce, that's fine too, as long as you're getting your name out there in front of your clients so they know when the disability conversation comes up, they remember Bill Levinson said he also handles DI and CI as well, or whatever the case is. So very important. Thursday is prospecting and agent recruiting. That's what we just went over. Joe showed you with Agency Automator. We have the same thing, but for agent recruiting, where you can just put a zip code in, the system spits out agents, name, number, email, address, so you can go after them and recruit your very own downline hierarchy. On Friday, we go over best practices. We just added this new for 19. This is great. It gives you an overall 100-footer of all of the best practices for your website and email marketing and what to use to drive traffic and get those open rates and click rates up. That's a great webinar. Again, these are every single week at 2 p.m. Eastern. You have no excuse to not log in. They're all free for Levinson agents. On the bottom, this is a great webinar that we have coming up. The reason why is because we know underwriting technology has so far advanced to where it was previously. We now go up to $1 million of non-med same-day approvals. We are launching this platform on 2/28. That's February 28th. 2 p.m. Eastern time next week. So make sure you jot that down. And then if you're bored over the weekend or at night and you want to look at some of these past training webinars and kind of brush up on any of your insurance skills, go to our YouTube channel, Levinson 1, the number 1, and all of our prior trainings and webinars, everything is on there for you to take advantage of. It's free. So you can take all day Sunday and sit with us and listen to everything that we have to offer. Okay, so we are constantly looking forward here at Levinson. And we have revamped our exclusive lead program, our orphan lead program. We literally have over 6,000 orphans ready to go right now. We have the new VIP system, okay? That's for all of your email marketing and marketing in general. We have one person that will meet with you monthly and put together your marketing plan and do everything for you. And that's a co-op price if you want the VIP person dedicated just for you. The mobile templates are up for your website. The podcast just launched some great guest speakers to come this year. The new permanent quote engine, iSolve. We have the pilot version that we just launched on Tuesday. Okay, if you want to check that out, go to our YouTube channel. It's called iSolve. It's a permanent quote engine right on our website. You can go check it out right now. If you're running any UL, IUL permanent quotes, it is a resource you must have. It makes your life so much easier. Our life settlement department and senior health division launching early 2019 as well. So any of your clients, let's say with permanent products that they don't need them anymore, even term products, that maybe there's no need for the product anymore, there's other insurance in place, whatever the case is, we can discuss a settlement offer. We even have a quote engine where we can tell you what the offer is the same day. It's not going to be exact, it'll give you a ballpark, but it makes things a lot easier if you have any clients with existing policies that just don't have a need for them. All right, let's end with this. I know I ranted a little long here, but I feel like we had some great info to share. This is our Positive Tuesday quote. And by the way, on the left side, that's a picture of the Bill Levinson Experience channel. That's for our podcast. That's what you'll see through iTunes and then on Spotify. Spotify's coming up this month. Let's end with this great quote. Every Tuesday, I put these out on all of our social media pages. I love this one. First, they will call you crazy, and later, they will call you for advice. Here's to all the crazy ones that can change the world. I love that quote. And the reason why, I don't care if you want to sit home with your spouse tonight and make a 1-minute YouTube video on what you learned about disability income today and how that can help your friends, family, and clients, okay? Great. Whatever idea you have, even if you get one watcher or one follower on your social media page, that's a start, and that's one more than you had yesterday, and that one turns into 20, which turns into 100, which turns into thousands. And the reason why I know this, and I'm not just sitting up here preaching, okay, is because that's how Levinson and Associates was born. We started literally with a couple of hundred agents. My dad was running an agency out of Sunrise, Florida. And today we have 16,000 plus agents in almost every city in the U.S. And why? Because it's email marketing. It's social media marketing. It's putting together these YouTube videos. You can all do it, okay? There's no excuse. It's up to you how far you want to take this thing, okay, which could be just a little bit, or if you want to take it to the top, there's no limit with the internet these days. We're going to end with that. Have a wonderful rest of the week, a good weekend, and great selling. Take care, and thanks again.